Hello friends, I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's things where you are? I hope it's great. It's Valentine's Day. If you have a Valentine, I hope you told them that you love them. But I don't really celebrate this day. I feel like you should treat every day like Valentine's Day. I want to show you something that I've been meaning to show you for a while and I keep forgetting, but it's something that I do that I'm not sure if other people do. And it's when other people recognize that this is a quirk of mine, they kind of get taken aback by it. But I'm left-handed. To be precise, I'm non-dominant, which means I use both my hands. I'm not ambidextrous. Ambidextrous would mean I can use both hands equally. I can't. There are certain tasks I do right-handed that I just simply can't do left-handed, same way. But I'm non-dominant. My left hand is basically just writing and like chopsticks and spoons, maybe even forks. I've switched hands with forks. That's not a big deal. But my left hand is like fine motor skills, drawing. My right hand is the strong arm. It's the throwing arm, everything else is batting right-handed, all that stuff. So growing up in school, I was forced to learn cursive. And if you're a left-handed person, I'm going to try to get a shot of this for you while I'm talking. If you're a right-handed person, you get to come at the page kind of from below. You get to address your letters from below the letter, because the natural motion for your hand and your arm is to do this kind of right-leaning mark. Whereas if you're left-handed, the natural motion is to mark in a backwards direction, or if you are working forward, then your letters are leaning below the line, which is wrong when you're writing cursive. So the fix for writing in cursive as a left-handed person is to kind of invert your hand. So your hand is above the letters, and then you can write in that right-handed way, where the natural arc is to make a upward-facing slash. Well, that's a problem. It's a problem because for lefties we have to do this contorted thing, but the main problem with being left-handed is when you use a notebook, and when I was in school I was required to use notebooks all the time, a lefty would have to start off writing on this spine, and it's terrible. It's very difficult to do that because your hand is there, and then the entire time you're dragging your hand across the spine. It's very hard to write. So in I think it was high school. It might have been junior high, but I think it was high school when I had a teacher tell me, just flip the book over and write from the back to front, so that like a right-handed person, I am coming at the page from off of the page. I don't have to start on the spine, and I can write this way. So I did that, and it made perfect sense. 3-ring binders are the worst. When you're left-handed, a 3-ring binder, those big, they just get in the way. But I've taken it even farther. At some point in my life, I don't know when this was, but I've looked back at old notebooks and they're all the same. Not only do I write back to front, but when I turn the page, I rotate the book 180 degrees so that I'm never writing across the spine. And then my next page, I rotate the book again, and I keep going. And I do this all the time. I do it in this notebook, which is a score pad that Em and I use to play rummy. We play a lot of rummy. And I do it in my drawing book, where I'll have the drawing on the left-hand page, and then when I want to go write my summary of the drawing, I rotate the book and write my summary of the drawing. And this is the way I've done it for years and years and years. But I get it. It's confusing when you pick up a book of mine. Now, the thing is, when it comes down to something like this is a very private thing, and most people don't just pick up somebody's sketchbook and start flipping through it without asking. But it happens, and people look at it and go, what? Because the first reaction is you pick the book up, and you start at the front, and you go, well, there's nothing here. Well, yeah, because for me, that's the back of the book. Go to the back of the book and start going forward. And so they do that, and they go, oh, I see, and they read this first page, and then they go flip the page, and they're like, wait, and they start reading, and it doesn't make any sense, and I'm like, you're not reading it correctly, and then they realize they have to do this whole thing. So it's a bit of a nuisance for anybody who's attempting to read my stuff, but normally I don't let people read my notebooks. My notebooks are kind of like journals. They're not that private, but as though, as much as I'm a very open individual here on YouTube, there's parts of this that I don't want to show people. I mean, it's stuff I'm not proud of or stuff that I feel silly for trying, and so it's personal. But it happens from time to time. And I'm just curious, like, do other lefties do this? If you're a lefty, did anybody ever teach you to start at the back of the book and work your way forward? Did that ever occur to you naturally? Do you rotate the book 180 degrees like I do so that I never write across the spine? I never want to write across the spine. Or did you just abandon paper as soon as computers became viable because paper sucks? I've always been a paper person. I'm a paper person's paper people because I am very visually and spatially oriented, and on paper I can see things, I can flip between things, and it helps me kind of keep things in memory, and I don't get lost with what I'm trying to do. And you know, sketchbook is one thing because it's literally just a back to front sort of thing, but if I'm taking notes about something, I like to use, I should have brought it with me, I like to use notebooks where I can remove the pages, loose leaf notebooks, and rearrange them based on my current needs. And I don't know, I can retain information better that way. So I've always been a paper person, but being a lefty and a paper person, you know, it's a right-handed world. Let me know. Are you left-handed? How do you write in notebooks? Put it in the comments. Let me hear from you. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for being wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I will see you on Monday. Tell me a random fact.
According to Slate, John Hancock's signature on the U.S. Declaration of Independence is almost 5 inches long.
Is the Declaration that big of a document?